But we've talked about 2 recruits, but there's a third one, isn't there, Mark?
There absolutely is. And now we will go to the defensive side of the ball as well with Jaden Jones off the edge there from Montgomery, Alabama, Park Crossing High School, Logan.
Yeah, this is another big size guy. This is what Florida State is wanting to do. It feels like it's how it feels like it should be. When you think of Florida State and adding to that defensive line, you think of big guys that are aggressive, like to get in there, and they come in with size coming out of high school. And this is what Florida State has done here with grabbing JUCO defensive end Jaden Jones. Number one thing from him is really the size. He said that he committed to Florida State. He had a close connection with Coach JP, Coach Norvell, obviously. And they see a lot in Jones. And, he told us that, the staff specifically talked to them and said, they brought up Jermaine Johnson. And, that's definitely raises some eyebrows and kind of shocks you a little bit. But they do see a really high upside with Jones coming in. They spent a lot of time together with him and the staff, and he just felt like it was right to go ahead and commit to Florida State. And, luckily, hopefully, Florida State can continue to use that recruiting advantage of having Keir Thomas and Jermaine Johnson, what they were able to do to be the best duo, definitely in their conference and one of the best in the country last year. They can use that as a recruiting tool. Jermaine Johnson, the first round to the Jets. They can use this to really pry in some guys and say, hey, you can come in, you can even be a one-year guy, and we can develop you into being one of the top, if not the top in the ACC, and send you into the first round of the NFL draft and be a star there, a star player for the Jets in New York. So that's something that I think now Florida State is definitely taking full advantage of here. And I think it was really about the connections here. But this is another decently sized guy coming in that I think Florida State is excited to have on its roster.
Yeah, you're talking about a guy 6'6", 240, and we've talked about it with some of the other recruits who've come in over the past couple seasons, guys like Pat Payton from down here. Kind of can play that, I'm not comparing him to Jason Taylor, but kind of that Jason Taylor type position that he played with the Dolphins, kind of that linebacker, defensive end hybrid thing right there. And you look at what's coming in right now with the 2023 class, you've got Jaden Jones, the defensive lineman, and then on the other side, you've got Lamont Jr., who's coming in as kind of that edge guy, who's also a 6'5", 228. He's going to bulk up during his senior year at Miami's Gulliver Prep. So you've got those guys who you put one on one side, one on the other side. Those are 2 giant pass rushers who get a little meat on them, can come on the edge. So I think on the defensive side, I'm going to give – Logan's going to want to write this down. Logan, grab your pen. I want you to write this down, okay, because it may not happen again. Okay.
I'm listening.
You ready? Okay. Mike Norvell and the assistant coaches have done a heck of a job recruiting so far. That's the best. That's the best compliment you're going to get right now. That's the best you're going to get.
So we've gone off the whole Travis, where we've moved on from the Travis Hunter and the Kevin Coleman and the Tyree West. Now that we've moved on from it.
Travis Hunter. First of all, I was never against him for the Travis Hunter thing. I will once again always say, and we've talked about this on past shows, get your money while you can, because this is football. This is a contact sport. You're one hit away from permanent injury, permanent paralysis. Get your money while you can. Kevin Coleman was going to go to Miami, it looked like, and then he went to Jackson State. Do your thing. Travis Hunter was not the fault of Mike Norvell. He made a decision, and he'll probably end up leaving Jackson State in a couple of years, going to Georgia, get another bag from Georgia, and he'll be good to go. So move on from that, focus on the future. And, you look at the 2023 class, it's ranked 34th right now by 24/7 Sports, but I like what I'm seeing right now. I like Lamont Green. Obviously, he's the prodigy son of his dad, who was arguably one of the top linebacker recruits, one of the top defensive recruits in Florida State history when he played high school football down here in South Florida. Vontavious Jacobs from Vero Beach, also a wide receiver target. You've got Chris Parson, the big quarterback target from up in Ravenwood, Tennessee. You've got the Joneses coming in, one from Mississippi, one from Alabama. So, I think right now they're setting pace for what you want to see. Would I like them to recruit more in the state of Florida? Would I like them to come back and recruit more South Florida? Sure. But you got to get these guys while you can. And now you're going up against a Miami that's focusing all their attention here on South Florida and getting the top South Florida recruits. You've got a Florida that's wanting to recruit here back in the state of Florida. So, we've talked about it. If they win this season, I think you're going to start to get more recruits. But I like the base of where the 2023 recruiting class is right now.
You got to. I like really, being able to see Lamont Green Jr. That was my first time being able to see him compete. We'd seen him a few times for recruiting, but Jason, that get off is nasty. I don't think we have time to share the video here I took of him, but that get off is disgusting. He's going to put on more size. His dad, and this is a recruit that, if I would put everything imaginable on that. He's definitely going to be sticking with Florida State. His dad has made that very clear on our show, along with just on social media. That he's a Knoll, and his son knows that too. So we don't have to worry about that. But this is a guy that has some crazy upside. I wouldn't be surprised that's a high rated 4-star, if not a 5-star guy, because Lamont Green Sr. is going to put some size on him. He's already put on quite a bit, not quite a bit, a lot since the last about year or so, and he's just going to continue to put on size there. But that get off, to have that get off, you can't really teach that too much. You can train that, and it'll take a little while to get there. But just to have that natural get off, and offensive tackle can't even touch you. Yeah. Odell Hagens looked at after the rep and said, he looked over at Senior and said, "Yeah, that boy's gonna be good."
And let's not forget, Lamont Green Jr. committed to Florida State as a sophomore. So Lamont Green Jr. has been Florida State committed. He hasn't been like several other guys like a Marvin Jones Jr. who looked at Florida State but ended up going to Georgia. Lamont Green Jr. has been a Florida State commit, and he's right now 4-star. Just looking right now, 46th best player in the state of Florida, according to 24/7. I mean, that's only going to go up. My question at this point is, he's sticking with Gulliver Prep, which is a good school program that produced guys like Sean Taylor, a couple other big names that went to the NFL, but I'm kind of surprised that he's staying there. I would have thought maybe, we don't recruit down here in South Florida in the high schools. We've never recruited, but I'm wondering why a school like a St. Thomas didn't get him, why a school like Miami Central that brought in a couple guys that went to Florida State. Why aren't these guys coming in to get him? But he'll stick with Gulliver, and I think he's gonna stay.
I think they know. Daddy ain't gonna have anybody. He ain't going anywhere else. So I think they can try all they want. They can send all the offers. They can send the letters, the gifts, everything imaginable. They can send the cars, the challengers, whatever. But sorry, Saban, this one. Talking to Senior in person, they ain't going nowhere.
The fact that he's not at St. Thomas Aquinas for a senior of high school is my surprising part right here. He's staying at Gulliver, but we don't recruit because we're moralistic down here in South Florida. We're not like up in Tallahassee, you Charles High heathens who recruited. That's how you got there, right? You were a Godby kid, right?
Yeah, Godby, and then they brought me over to Charles to play.
Obviously.
Yeah, it was tough.
That journalism bag got you.
Yeah. Had to.